What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Sentai with Senpai. Basically, they gave Fenrir a gun, and all these cards went up in price. That's what you need to know. New support cards go burr. Super Quantal Ultimate Rare has spiked in price, but what's notable is the rare has really gone crazy up. So you might want to be picking through that old bulk. Wing Raiders is goated. So many good cards in there. And then we also have the secret rare Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnus going up. We already talked about Red Layer, but its Xyz is going for its ultra rare. The common is still pretty readily available right now. And also the OTS Super for Blue Layer is going, and her rare is also starting to go down to just 6 listings, so we'll see where that ends up settling. Remember, you have to click Quantum as well as Quantal when searching through. Alphon is pretty darn notable, and I wanted to focus that because it's one of the old super combo pieces of the deck when you're able to use it, and it only has one printing, but you would think with new support they'll get around to a reprint somewhere finally for this card, but also worth pulling out of your bulk to a good degree and spiking right now. Now let's get to Quarter Century Watch, everybody's favorite part. I know a lot of people groan because there's just so many buyouts, but I did warn you that, hey, get what you want sooner than later. With these future sets, people will be reaching back, and it's way further than anything I could have estimated. With us having a GOAT tournament supported at the YCS as one of the slots for the 3v3, the Koichi has really started to climb here. You can see there is one seller uninterested in the buyout, just going, hey, I'm listing at the old price, wanting to make that sale before it's completely spiked crazily in price, and they're selling around where it was selling at, so that's great for them. Also, Call of the Haunted is starting to go, and it's even broken the graph at this point, but we have one at 15 before it's 25 and then into the 30s, and the sales are actually hitting at the 25s at this point. Premature Burial is also starting. It hasn't skyrocketed, but it's gone up a few dollars from 7 towards 10 to 11 for the most part. Mirror Force is starting to go, which has multiple past formats, and it's around the 35 for a foreign copy, so actually 45 are the lowest listings at this point. I just refreshed everything before, and there was one lower, and it seems to have gone as well, and it was a light play, I suppose. So we see a ton of these have sold above the 30 mark where it was at, and now it's starting to bubble up in price. Snatch Steel is a bit harder to get because it's out of Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge, so those pull rates versus having 25 of them out of the, I think it's 6 some odd cases to end up pulling them all, is how those ratios end up going versus multiple QCRs per box. This is going up. I've liked it long term. I like the secret rare still as well, but you see here, one seller with 0% feedback does have it listed very cheaply compared to everybody else, and then it's 68 to 69. That's feedback doing lifting and really able to make sales for people. And then secret rare over here, still very populated, still around that $2 mark. Again, this just reminds me of Delinquent Duo Secret back in the day, but maybe not as popular. I still think it's a really good one to be picking up for 2 for a mid-max, and it's unlikely to end up, I would think, in a main part of Stampede, but you never know, right? Like, they could do every other rarity on a card like this, I suppose, or some future Starlight collection could happen, as we've been joking about, slash kind of not joking about. We have Gravekeeper Spy. I only stumbled onto this because we were talking about speed duels, and I was talking about how the secret rare, they just can't do anything because they keep quarter century secret raring all the good picks from speed duels here, and this one was ahead of time. Here's this buyout. It's gone crazy towards $30 when it used to be $12. Let's check the actual sales because I haven't done that yet. One at 30, and a bunch in the 20s have gone. Then we have Herald of Perfection. Apparently there's rumors of future support with this deck. The quarter century secret rare has gone to where it is above the price of the Gold Ghost, which is around $10 lowest right now. I really like the Ultimate Rare on this card for that old school Ultimate Rare look that really etches in and helps the artwork, but that's pretty expensive. And what Quarter Century Secret Rare is doing is mid-maxing. If you notice, I have these pages pulled up so you can see every version. It's almost never in the front for a card. Usually there's one copy that outclasses the Quarter Century Secret Rare at least, if not multiple, and they start out so affordable. And that's where you should have been buying, as I was saying before, and then they end up spiking up in price. Dark End Dragon, however, might be considered the highest rarity besides the prize card. You'll have to let me know if you prefer the jump version to it, but it has jumped ahead in price of everything but the prize card, and it is going. I think you should get the platinum sooner than later, because remember, this is in the nostalgia pool, and it brought all these prices down a really good amount. They were headed towards $12 to even $20 for some of these Dark End Dragons, and this brought it back down to earth. So with these quantities going, if you just want access to one of these cards, you should be getting it sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Then we have Gores, not scared of the chibi art at all. It's Quarter Century Secret Rare absolutely into the stratosphere from $15 to $50 lowest. Let's see the sales. Around $35 for the max and a lot at $20 to $25. Then we have Kalute Damage Step. It is doing damage to some waltz. Now this is probably the undisputed highest rarity for this card at this point. You do have the old tournament pack super, but I think this will outclass it. It was all the way down to 11 and now it's a lowest of 45. That is crazy. But the sales stop at 20, a lot at 15, so we'll see where it actually ends up settling. Then we have Treeborn Frog going. I love this for multiple past formats, the good old Monarch mirror matches. It versus the Duel Saga, which is very cheap, is an interesting one because you do have the taco bending for this, but then the thicker cards that are Quarter Century Secret Rare. I feel like this has so many nice versions, including the Lart, that are cheap and affordable at this moment, but this one sparkles a lot more. We have Gemini Elf getting a double down buyout. Isn't that actually appropriate? We covered the initial buyout, but it has continued to go crazily and actually has a sale at 45. That's wild. But look at all the sales at 15 where it had spiked to and we were talking about it. It does double down. Then we have Elemental Hero Prisma. I would assume this is for Gladiator Beast in past formats for the most part. Its Quarter Century Secret Rare has gone. I would think this would be considered the max rarity on this card. I think it has a magazine-like promo or 10 promo that's ultra rare originally, if I recall. Yeah, that's the Duels Pack collection. I think this would outclass it, and it does actually fit this card very well. Test Tiger, also for Gladiator Beast, is starting to go just 11 listings, although it hasn't spiked up in price crazily yet. Be aware, it is going, and soon to be gone. Then we have Infernity Archfiend doing something similar, down to 15 listings, also going, come, face me, give in to your pride. Who's Glasgow Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't remember that guy. Illusion of Chaos is also going. People are actually quoting Monarchs for this one because they like to play Magician Souls in older builds, and it really fits the deck well, so this also fits in to get to Magician Souls faster, which also gives you free tribute fodder and draws, so makes sense. And then it's a fan favorite for Master Duel players who got in because of that. Yeah, it's outclassed by the Starlight quote-unquote, but I think it's still a really good-looking version of the card, and people are going for it right now. XX Saber Hunley does not have any reprints, and they were talking about how X Sabers were going to get Quarter Century Secret Rare, and this one could be up for it. Its ultra rare has gotten very expensive. I know we covered the ulti before. The ulti is even more expensive than when we last covered it. Lowest 50 is crazy, but lowest $30 for an unlim and no other near mint copies. Wow, that is crazy. I hope a reprint is in this card's future, especially for an icon. And then Machina Force. I know we've covered the secret rare before. I haven't covered the commons being this expensive, so since I've already told you to go digging through bulk, be aware these commons are $3 a piece, better than a booster pack for a common out of a structured deck for the most part. Well, I guess a back in the day booster pack. But yeah, seriously, lowest 350, so about there. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. I know it's a lot of quarter century secret rare buyouts as we head towards Stampede, and it's a lot of past format as well. That's not everybody's jam, but I certainly do like looking through what's happening and the trends and talking about them like we broke down the quarter century secret rares in the last video. I think that quarter century secrets are pretty neat, but they have a rocky future depending on what happens with the 30th. And if you want to see that full conversation, just watch yesterday's Market Watch. What do you think of how crazy all of that is going? I think that it's a bit hyped out of proportion and will come back down before future buyouts do happen, but I think it's a natural progression of, wow, these sets feel really good, and there's a lot of cards I want, and I better get this now before the next set, and oh, I better get the collection rolling, I better do this, and there is a huge demand actually there for the surprisingly low quantities of the cards out of a set like Bonanza, and the nostalgia pool that created that situation. So it does make a bit of sense that they would go up, but way past where I currently thought they would be at. Thanks for watching, everybody.